Welcome to the March 22nd meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen. We will start with public comment.
I don't think you have anybody on for public comment. I could be wrong, but there's no.
Okay. Going once, going twice?
Okay.
Okay, moving along.
So
Department head.
Yeah, we have DRA with us, remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do them now.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do them now. And then they can carry on with their night.
Okay. Chad Roberge is part of Avatar Associates.
Yep.
And Chad is on as well. We also have a, I think it's Lisa Mudge, is that correct? And a Brenda, I'm gonna ruin your last name, so we might as well just.
Brenda Pavin
Okay, from DRA, right?
from DRA, yes.
Okay, all right, so that's who we have. I believe I'm not missing anybody. Lisa's with us, right? Lisa Mudge?
Yes, I'm Lisa Mudge.
Oh, okay. Who's Brenda? She with us?
Brenda is
Yeah, I'm
here.
She's here as well. Okay. All right, Ricky, I'll back away and they can do whatever.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Chad, do you want to start or you want me to start?
Yeah, I'm okay with starting. I can go through the process because it's also there cyclical for you guys, right?
Yep.
So hi, my name is Chad Roberge. I don't think I've had the chance to meet some of you. I'm the assessor for the town of Ware. And this year we're doing a cyclical revaluation. So we're going to be bringing all the assessments to 100% of market value, which in this case, it looks like we're going to be raising assessments as part of this reevaluation. It looks like, at least based on the sales, there's going to be a pretty significant increase in the assessments, which means that tax rate's probably going to come down pretty close to the same amount, maybe a little less, depending on what you guys decided for a budget. But we're looking at anywhere between 30 and 40% change in assessments just based off of the sales we've been seeing. And just to give a heads up, we'll probably see somewhere north of that on lakefront properties based on some of the sales we've been seeing as well. So we'll try to address all of that, leading up to it, just so people aren't surprised. But yeah, there'll be some pretty big changes in terms of assessments, but we want people to know that doesn't mean take your current tax rate and multiply it by the new assessment that they're going to see, because that tax rate's more than likely going to come down pretty significantly. The plan is we're only going to use sales going back to 10/1/2020. We've got plenty of sales. I think we have 110 so far. Normally, usually as a company, we like to have around 40 to use to make our model to assess the town. But having over 100 is great. And that we don't have to go back so far that we need to time trend is even better. So we plan to start the field review, which means we're going to be driving the whole town and reviewing all the properties. We hope to start that April 26th. So that's usually the time where people call and say that there's a car outside my driveway and they didn't pull in or anything. That's us. We will have a well-marked car. It will say Avatar Municipal Services on the side. It will be a white Highlander. And we also notify the police just in case they're the first person or the first contact. We're estimating about 2 weeks for that process just because of the size of Ware and how many properties there are. And then we'll send out notices regarding what those new assessments, preliminary assessments are around June 11th. Right now, that's our scheduled time frame. So that's when they get the notices. It'll show what their new preliminary assessment is. There'll be a link on there where they can go online and see pretty much the whole property record card and the information. In that notice, it really just gives you your land value, your improvements, and then your total value. But if they want to see more and make comparisons to their neighbors, which is what we want them to do, so they can kind of help us fix any mistakes we might have made, there is that link. They can go on and see everything. There will also be a phone number to call. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the old way of doing it. We're doing hearings. They can sign up for themselves. So we're going to provide a link that they can go on and actually schedule an appointment for themselves. And then we'll do a phone call appointment. So we're not doing any face-to-face with people. We did that last year as part of our protocol for COVID, and it worked really, really well. It allowed people that might have second homes that live further away to actually make appointments, and they felt like they got their voices heard, and it worked well. The hearings, after they receive the notices on June 11th, we give them a few weeks, and the hearings will start June 28th. And those again are the phone hearings. The nice part about doing the phone hearings is we can really kind of stretch them out as long as we need to. So we can really, when we did it in person, we could try to keep it, at 3 or 4 days and try to accommodate everyone as best we could. With the phone hearings, we can really kind of move it out as far as we need to, so we can really accommodate everyone. I think that's it from us. I mean, do you guys have any questions? We've been doing the town of Ware for a long time, so I think a lot of the residents will kind of already know the process and be aware of what's going on, but I didn't know if you guys had any questions regarding that process.
Chad, this is the chair. Can you just maybe in that the reeval letter that you send out with the new value, can you somehow put like a little note in there, because I think 30 to 40% is going to be a substantial sticker shock to anybody that has a house in town and pays taxes. That basically how you just explained to us that this is a re-eval of the town 100%. Because of property, it drove it up 30 or 40%, yada yada yada. But when the tax rate is set, or a little bit more of the process, so they don't think that their taxes are going to go up by about $4,000 a house. A little sticker shock there. Just some kind of a notification letter, maybe with your letterhead on it that says that. Because I think with that much of a jump, I mean, in previous years, and you can probably tell me I'm wrong, but it's probably been 10%, maybe. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, usually that's the highest we've seen, about 10, 12%.
Right. So that was a little more, manageable for some, but I think 30 or 40, I think it needs to be a little, just a heads up, because I think you'll be fielding a lot of telephone interviews.
Yeah, I mean, we do actually have a blurb in there, and I believe it's even bold and italicized. But the problem is, it's right above where their values are. So I think they get to like the middle of the letter, and then they see the value, and then they make that phone call. So
yeah.
no, yeah, we do have it in there because, believe me, from experience, we've been in the business over 30 years. We try everything we can to kind of just put out the information so people know what to expect, but it's hard sometimes to just kind of direct them towards certain areas to read. But absolutely, yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that, and I think the person who opens the envelope before they have their heart attack will appreciate it as well.
Absolutely.
So,
And then the DRA is also doing their cyclical, and I'll let Lisa go into that because that's a little bit more involved a process, and that will help. I think Wendy will be dealing more on that aspect of helping out Lisa get the information she needs. But I am also there twice a month, so Wendy might utilize me as well to help with that. So.
okay, so I'm Lisa Mudge. I'm the West District Supervisor. And Brenda Pavin is the real estate appraiser assigned to Ware, who has most of the contact with the town. Chad, I just had a question. You're also going to be doing a sales review. When do you anticipate? You probably have been measuring and listing sales right along.
Yeah, we've already measured all and listed all the sales. We took pictures of the waterfront towards the end of last summer as well, just so we can get started early.
Great. And the only other question I have is, does the municipality have a data collection manual available to the public?
Yep.
So if there's any questions on their property record cards, they have the manual to look at?
Yep, Wendy has it in her office, correct.
Okay, great. Okay, so the department is responsible for overseeing the different elements of the revaluation. So Chad, you're the, we do have a list of personnel along with the contract, the up-to-date insurance certificate. I see that you have a 5-year cyclical process, 20% per year. So the department's responsible for monitoring the cyclical, which is the data verification piece of the general assessing side of the contract. And then we monitor the sales inspections, the sales data as well. So if Chad has 40 sales, we take a sample of those, about 24 properties we mail to the resident, and we give them the opportunity to either make an appointment or turn down the visit if they don't want to be visited by the DRA. We do 12 inspections and create a monitoring inspection report that will send out to Avatar first and then send out to the town after their comment. We do that every year for the cyclical, and then we'll do it this year in the revaluation year for the sales. So just as an FYI to your residents, that we will be visiting as well. We will always make sure the town knows that we're visiting. We will contact the police department so they have the characteristics of our car and our, plate numbers, so that in case the police department gets any calls, they have that information. We're always marked. We always have tags, with our credentials. So it is a lot of people running through town with the assessor going for multiple processes, and then we come in and do the review. So any kind of public relations you can do on that in addition to the assessor, but that the DRA may randomly pick to come and visit you as well. Do you have any ideas on what kind of public relations you're going to do? Do you have the website? Do you post so the town is knowledgeable about the revaluation? I'm sorry, should I direct questions to Ricky or to Naomi?
Either or. I think that, Naomi, and correct me if I'm wrong, we can definitely put that on the homepage of the town website.
Oh, absolutely. We'll share whatever we need to share with,
Put that as a red flag.
yeah, exactly.
We just recommend any kind of communication is great, because as Chad said, we have a very active market, and we're seeing some good, strong values, and there will be an increase in value likely, as Chad said, but the communication about the tax rate piece going down so that it's not, it doesn't mean your taxes are doubling. And there's also if a taxpayer doesn't believe that after the informal hearings, doesn't believe he's satisfied with his value, there's always the abatement process. Do you have the abatement process on your website? How do you notify the taxpayers of their right to apply for an abatement?
I believe that's under the assessors tab, isn't it, Naomi? On the
I'm not sure if
website?
it's under there. Typically what we do, Lisa, is obviously it's printed on the back of the bill. But we can, I'm not sure that it's on our website, but if that's something that will help, by all means, just let us know what we need to put up, and we're happy to, because communication is key in anything.
Absolutely. Sherry? You're muted. Can't hear you.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
sorry.
still muted.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's Sherry.
Okay, so I'll
Type your
just,
question in chat, maybe.
yeah, if you want to put it in the chat, I'll open the chat.
I think she's going to go and get reinforcements, see why it's not working.
Yeah, that's unusual, because she looks like she did
Yeah,
Oh, there
she's
you go.
not muted.
Yeah. It's okay, just interrupt me again. I'll just go on with some other stuff.
Can I ask a question, Lisa?
Sure.
I never got feedback. How did you guys, were you able to get a list for our reevaluations last year for the phone hearings? Were you able to get a list of phone numbers and the people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that worked out okay for you guys?
Yeah. So yeah, that works great. Whatever the assessor decides as far as COVID goes, as long as he's having the taxpayer hearings and giving the opportunity to the taxpayer to talk about their assessment, talk about their property record card, ask any questions that they need to ask, that if they're phone hearings, that's great. Some communities are going back to in-person, but most people are not really fully in person yet. So there's, some communities are even doing video. But if the phone hearings work, that's great. You're giving them the opportunity to talk about their assessment. And that's another part of the process that the DRA is responsible for, is monitoring those hearings. Typically, if you have them in person, we'll come and visit for a day. But within COVID, we have been just getting the lists of the taxpayers that have contacted the assessor and just verified that the hearings are happening. And so, Chad, you do all your work remote, or you work in the office as well?
I work in the town of Ware 2 days a month.
In the office, yeah.
Yep.
And then at the end of the revaluation, Chad's going to produce a USPAP report, and that's a Uniform Standards of Appraisal Practice. It's the appraisal report for the whole town revaluation. The department is responsible to do a deep dive into that to make sure all the elements that are required by the uniform standards are in the USPAP report. We will send out a letter of compliance upon completion of that as well. And as far as the revaluation goes, the only other question, are there any special use properties in the town?
No, there are not, no.
Okay. And you're valuing the utilities as part of this project?
Yes, Avatar will be. Me
Okay.
personally, no, but Avatar will be.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all the information I have about monitoring of the revaluation. I'll do a quick overview of assessment review, but I wanted to see if Sherry was able to ask a question.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that worked.
Okay. Yeah. What I was going to ask or mention is maybe another outlet would be to put this information on Channel 6, because I think quite a lot of people in town watch that Channel 6 station. So that's all I was going to say.
Okay.
And I should also mention, I think a reporter, I can't remember from which outlet, contacted Wendy, and we generated a kind of a pretty much what I just said today in tonight's meeting, kind of synopsis of what happens and how it goes on.
Great.
So it is going to be out there in another outlet, and I can't, Wendy will know because I think she was aware of what outlet it was from. But.
Okay, a newspaper or?
Yes, I believe it was a newspaper. I don't believe it was any sort of TV broadcast.
We have a local newspaper run by the library. It's We Are Where, no, Where in the World. Where in the World.
Where in the world?
Yeah.
I like that. That's cute.
The play on words. So secondly, that it is also your assessment review year, and this typically happens the same year as a revaluation. There's a 5-year requirement by RSA to review all the assessing practices in the town. And that entails a review of your ratios. The department does ratio studies through their equalization process. We do also field work of physical inspections of properties. called accuracy of data. It's a random sampling of all the properties in the whole town. So we do the monitoring of the data verification properties, of the sales properties, and then we do one of the whole town. And I believe you have about 4,900 parcels. So that will take about 36 properties. We'll visit 36 properties. We'll mail to about 55 properties. And again, do that process. We go out, we measure the property just like Chad does and his people. And we just look to see that you don't have excessive material errors or data elements. This is, we provide a report at the end of the assessment review year to the Assessing Standards Board. In your 2016 assessment review, you had, you did very well. Current use is an area that is difficult because it's, it was started so long ago in the 70s and it wasn't administered exactly the same as it is now. So that's a process that is always evolving with towns. Current use, we look for, you know, that the proper form has been filed, the A10, that they're following current use board rules as far as looking at the quality of the land and not just assessing all at 100% of current use rates, that there are varied qualities and access. That's Cub 304. We look at land use change tax and we're look to see that that's administered properly. We take a sampling of permits. Every year, Chad will go out to properties and look at any permits that have been pulled throughout the year. And in the assessment review year, we take a sampling of those properties and see that they're being visited. That's only done once every 5 years. After all the field work, sometime at the end of the year into the winter, we will do a file review check, and that is to see that credits and exemptions, religious, charitable, and educational, that they all have the proper forms and they're being administered properly. And then, as I mentioned, the USPAP review at the end of the year as well. So that is that. We can go into more detail with Naomi, or are you referring to somebody else that might be an admin that I'm not aware of her? Wendy, I think you said. And
Yeah, Wendy is the assessing department. She kind of
assessing
runs it.
clerk.
Yeah,
Okay.
she'll be the one that probably spearheads a lot of what you're looking for and any sort of
Questions.
task in that department, I would think.
Okay. So we'll talk to her in more detail about any criteria that she has any questions about. You know, like I said, the last assessment review was pretty good and weren't any problems. But we do that review as required by 21J14 every 5 years. So if you have any questions about assessment review, the riveting subject of, if you don't have any questions, I will, I'm all done.
Okay, any questions from the board members?
Yeah.
We'll be in contact with Chad and Wendy, and as they go through their, get into this, you know, finishing the sales and get started on the review.
Sounds good.
Very good to meet you all, and I'll step out while you finish your meeting.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much.
Chad.
Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for
Thank
getting in
you.
early.
Thanks, Chad.
Yes. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Okay. that was DRA. Now we will move to department head committee items. And we will speak to Janine and Lisa regarding Parks and Rec's hiring discussion.
Hi, everybody. I apologize. I had my second, or my first, actually, my only one-shot deal yesterday with the COVID vaccine, and I am really miserable today. So I'm definitely not feeling up to being on camera. Janine has a statement where we're thankful that you're here to listen to our plea for an exception. So Janine, are you there?
I'm here.
Thank you.
All right. So Janine Lynch, Chair of Parks and Recs. And first, I'm going to read my little letter here. I'd like to thank you for letting us speak tonight. We're here from Parks and Rec to ask for a special exception to the employee policy, Roman numeral 4, section C, employment of relatives. We at Chase Park have worked hard in the past year plus to make Chase Park a clean and enjoyable family recreation spot in this community. The largest part of that effort is our staff. We have found what really works for them, what really works to make Chase Park shine. The family environment we create leads to great bonds and friendships. It's not just a typical summer job. It's one where we hope to continue to have families work together to welcome families to our lake. Park is not your typical department. We make spaces for people in this town to come together and enjoy themselves. And what we have been doing is working. Seasonal summer employment lends itself to school-age kids that can work when they're not studying. A great first-time job for our youth. We'd like to continue to let our staff, board members, and their families work together to continue our goals, even to work at the same shift. Having family not share shifts creates a hardship for transportation. Most of our youth staff do not have their own vehicle, and being able to share a ride makes working even possible. Otherwise, how does a working parent or a sibling drive a family member elsewhere while they're still working themselves? Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Okay. I guess I'll entertain board discussion on this. I have a feeling I know where this came from, but I'll entertain a board discussion on it. Okay. I guess nobody wants to talk about it. I don't think we've had issue in the past myself in what I'm about to ask, but I think that the reason that policy would stand is for disciplinary action and special treatment. That I understand everything you've mentioned, but I think my fear from the outside looking in would be if another employee saw special treatment because of relations. That would be my only hang up on the entire thing. I understand the transportation side of it, and like I said, it's hard to find, good help, and when you do find good help, you want to secure it. But that would be my only hang up in the back of my mind.
How many,
Oh, go ahead.
Janine, how many family members are we talking? Are we talking just one parent and one child? Are we talking 4 parents and 4 children, or?
So currently, our only adult supervisor, who has been our fantastic adult supervisor for the last 2 years, very successfully, has 3 kids out of 8 applying to work at the lake. 2 of which are returning staff, one of which who's actually the only other being not youth age to apply for assistant supervisor. We also have the director of Parks and Recs child is, which is applying to work this year and also had worked last year. And then we have one other just board member, volunteer board member, not myself, but having one child apply, which has, in the history of Parks and Recs, board members have always had children on staff. It's always been that kind of family thing. So it would be five children out of, we probably, I don't know, hired, I think, a dozen last year.
And how many are you looking to hire this year as far as actual staff? I mean, are we going to be able to fill all the positions we need, or?
Oh, we have, I think we had 20 applications, which a few we did a couple out, and then we have some that haven't returned a phone call to take an interview. So a few are weeding
Okay.
themselves out. So we're gonna definitely have at least 12 to 14.
15.
Yeah, 15 interviews.
I think so, yep.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not just kids that are only family members. I mean, it's open to everybody, and they're not even the half. They're not
Right.
even majority.
We also have a system in place where if there is an issue, we've got other adults that handle that. So I know it's really very difficult to not name names here. So if there is a child.
You can talk about yourself, Lisa. You would handle something, you
Yeah.
know?
So
handle
for
something.
instance, if something were to happen with my daughter, then that would be something that either Janine or Kristen would handle. And certainly the other way around too. So if there is an issue, we're all double checking on each other. And I think that this particular committee, this group that we have right now, is really great about sharing responsibility. So we're all chipping in and checking and, cross-checking each other. So I think it's been working really, really well.
Okay. And I know that, sometimes the parent is harder on the child than probably somebody else. I know I lived that. So, again, I can absolutely sympathize with the park right now. Is there any other board members that'd like to speak?
Yeah, my personal thought, I guess, would be try to space those parent kids out a little bit so that one parent isn't in charge of 2 or 3 of her own kids. Maybe spread it out so that she's only got 1 or 2 there at a time.
Yeah, and that would be pretty easy. I mean, unless it's really a busy holiday or busy weekend, it's typically, you only really need one staff member most of the time. It's the busy weekends and the busy holidays. And there's definitely plenty of kids to help out that it would probably just be, typically one child there. Absolutely.
Any other board members? Jack?
Oh, I think it pretty well covered. I think, the question has always been, they don't want nepotism to rear its ugly head and say, someone's getting preference, getting a land share of either shifts or not being disciplined, something that goes wrong. It seems like they've got it covered.
Okay. Sherry, anything?
No, I'm all set with it. I just wanted to know. And I think, if they can space the kids out, the person that has 3 kids working there, probably not ideal to have all 3 kids there at the same time. That's all.
That drives somebody crazy.
We don't typically, we don't typically have that many on at a time.
Where's the summer break for the parents?
There isn't one.
Actually, our current supervisor, uses the park as a getaway from her children, I think sometimes. So
Valid.
sometimes
Valid.
I hide down there too.
Yeah.
Anything from Selectman Van?
I was wondering, would the chair entertain a motion on this?
Yep, absolutely.
Like to make a motion that we exempt Parks and Rec Chase Park from the personnel policy for a period of 1 year. Roman numeral 4, subsection C.
Is there a second?
I would second it, but I would just say if there's any issues, then we have to come back to the table. That's all.
So, with 1 year with selectman discretion,
Yeah.
board discretion.
That'll
Yes.
work.
Okay. All right.
I'll
so-
second that.
All right, moved and seconded, all in favor, roll call, Vice Chairman Meany,
Aye.
Selectman Osborne,
Yes.
Selectman Burdick,
Yes.
Selectman Van,
Yes.
and Chairman Hippel, yes.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank
So-
Thank you
you.
for the effort you guys make.
So
Thank
Ricky,
you.
can I ask a question before we lose the two girls?
Yep.
I had sent you out kind of a late email and I apologize. So the boat ramp has been an ongoing discussion about the repairs, and I believe the board members probably got some emails forwarded either from Janine or directly to us, maybe through the website, in regards to the condition of the current boat ramp. Having been doing Zoom and being able to sit in on their meeting has been a good thing for me. I was able to reach out to someone here in town who does a lot of septic approvals and works closely with DES, kind of to see if what the thought was of what it would take. That was obviously after reaching out to DES, who DES sent me back a link, and I went to the permit by notification, and it's actually for a boat launch repair or replacement permit by notification, because that's a pre-existing approved boat ramp, and all we really need to do is clean it up and up to date. So the other night we talked about it. I've enlisted the gentleman who has submitted a plan that I forwarded to you tonight, that has, I haven't double checked it, but it appears to have checks all the boxes of what's required on a plan to go to DES. The application, I've downloaded and filled out as much as I can. I was just waiting for a little bit of information on the plan. There is a $400 fee that we need to send. And what happens is, once the permit and the plan and the fee goes to DES, DES has 10 days to let us know if there's anything they're missing, anything they'd like to see. If after 10 days, the application, they don't have any issues, then we can go ahead and start repairing the boat ramp. Now that is step 2 that I haven't done much more research with. Step 1 obviously has 10 days, because so it's $400 that I guess I'll ask the two girls. John Van also was there the other night. I think we wanted to see if we could move ahead, because the water will start to come back in at the lake about mid-May, so it's back from Memorial Day.
Yeah, the 15th is when they think
So
it's.
what we're looking, and Janine can correct me, anybody else can correct me, what we were looking to do, and like I said, I realize and apologize, it's last minute, but if we can have the board approve and let us go to DES with the plan that I shared with you and start the ball, because that's 2 weeks from them, really, 2 weeks. And
Yeah,
then from there, my thought is I could reach out to Benji. There's going to be some cost, I don't know what yet, which we would bring back to the board, but if we could at least get started, which would require a signature on the application, and you can either appoint the chair, or if you wanted, we could submit it, and if you wanted to appoint me as your authorized agent, I could sign it and get it out the door. That's all I'm asking while they're on.
Naomi, I got one quick question on that. If we submit that permit request and it gets approved, how long is that permit good for?
I honestly don't know, but if you're thinking, I know in the DES world, when you do a subdivision and apply for a subdivision or a site-specific permit, it's usually good for 5 years.
Okay, my biggest concern is if we go through all this, we put out the $400 and we find out that the repair of the boat ramp is just not economically feasible this year, that we just wasted $400.
Well, I don't know that it would be a waste, because just like anything else, you can always beg and ask for an extension, I'm sure. And I'd be happy to keep that moving forward, because you're right, I don't know what the cost is.
We even
Um,
thought, too, if it didn't move along fast enough, like if we got estimates, but maybe supplies weren't available or whatnot, even if we had to, if it was work that could be done when the water had risen and if it could still be performed, we could have to close the boat ramp for a while was even an option if it, ended up later in the season too as an option.
I think we're gonna, this is my thought, and I haven't, honestly, this is me talking without even going to back to Park and Rec, but I got it this afternoon. At 5 o'clock, it got sent to me, but, is that we keep this going, and if it requires an extension for a year, if we have to put some more money in, because you're gonna have to come up with a price as to what it's gonna cost. I don't know. You know what I mean? We can always use Benji as a resource, but there's still going to be materials somehow, some way. So I think we really need to look at that. But I think if you get it started and you can move along, I just want to keep the train moving,
I'm definitely for going forward, and Lisa emailed a reply as well as Dave both replied back that they're definitely ready to move forward with filing the application.
Yeah, so right now it's $400 is all we know of today. If
Yep.
we get prices, we can always come back next Monday, and Janine can come back as the chairman of Parks and Rec, so it's not me, and come back. I'll share everything with them and keep it going.
And
if
that's fine.
okay with the board.
That'd be great.
Yep. And if you want me to stop in the town office and sign something, that's fine. If you'd rather me appoint you to sign it, that's fine. Whatever's easiest.
It's up to the selectmen.
I think it's
Yeah,
up to
we
us.
can decide. Oh, good.
Well, I got a question here, because guess I'm out of the loop. I don't know what are we trying to accomplish with the boat launch ramp, and on the other side of it is I don't have a problem with making a permit, but on a default budget year, I've got concerns on how much money we're going to put forward to that ramp. So I don't even know what we're trying to accomplish as of today.
We were given, we've gotten complaints from residents, especially in the very end of the season with the drought. The water level lowered itself naturally, which exposed more damage that you couldn't see was under the water. And our adult supervisor was able to take pictures and stuff. And there's just, it's an asphalt ramp, and there's areas half the size of a car where there's no asphalt left. It's just crumbling. So it's damage to vehicles or boat trailers at this point, especially with drought conditions like we had last year. So we were just hoping to look into getting it repaired. And I think what Naomi had mentioned was, and I think a couple of people mentioned, is there's precast concrete type of boat ramps that can be put in versus actually having to pour cement or lay asphalt in, something that's already kind of more made that just actually gets set in the water.
And that's fine. I just, what's the price tag with one of those?
Yeah, right. And we don't know yet. This was step one, will DES allow us to touch the water?
Mm-hmm. If the permit's good for a couple of years, even 2 years, I'd be in favor of getting the wheel started on that. Where we've obtained some free professional services already. I would definitely be good with getting the permit process started. I just, like you said, we're going to have to really, crunch on numbers as far as repairs that we do and the process we're going to take. So I guess question to all, has Benji gone up and looked at and given us any idea of what can be done if there can be repairs? And
I don't think so. I don't think
He's been up yet. I honestly don't know, Ricky. Like I said, I just and if you, I guess, want to hold off a week, it's just a week on the other end when the water comes back in. And once you get it to them, I mean, we aren't going to move forward with Benji unless we can fix it, because if he digs up what's there, it's just going to make it worse.
Right. No.
The water sloshes in and out. It's going to take all the fill and everything.
Right. I don't want to hold the permit back, especially if it's good for a couple, 2-3 years or more. I just, like I said, I just want to know, obviously, before we put the first shovel in the ground up there,
Yep.
what we're going to be looking at for a cost, because again, we're on default budget. I don't want to spend frivolously.
For sure. And that's why $400 You know what I mean? If we just get step one started and then you could get solicit prices and things like that. I think that's the right move. This is just me, because I think we've listened to residents for a long time, and it really, I can forward you guys the pictures tomorrow that Kristen had taken, and you'd be amazed what it looks like if, while the water's down, and now that the snow's melted, it's even more visible. I know Selectman Van said he was gonna go by there tomorrow and look at it, or some couple of days, just to see what you're up against, because the snow has melted.
We're
Well, I
we're
mean-
actually at risk of losing a vehicle or a boat trailer in the water at this point.
Okay. I mean, it's, where, Naomi, did you have any plan for where the 400 was gonna come from?
No, somewhere in Parks and Rec.
How much money does
Here's
Parks
your-
and Rec
Here's
have?
your sample.
Any?
I don't know if you can even see it. That's all this is the wooden dock that you kind of board beside the boat, and that's all it's just, I mean, it's hard to see reference wise, but it's all gone.
Yeah, I see it's all gone. I'm not denying any of that or challenging any of that. I just, again.
Yeah. Ricky,
Well-
to be honest with you, I don't know where. I mean, I would say we'd have to try to find it in Parks and Rec somewhere, because that's where it is. But again, I haven't scrutinized where Parks and Rec is number-wise.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we start the permitting process with DES to do the repair on the boat ramp
You want to put an amount and a
for
designation on it?
$400.
Usually reach into that outlet.
To come from?
Well, we'll see if it comes from Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Leave the maintenance.
Moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, discussion?
Before we go through with this, I'd like to make damn sure that we're not wasting it for this year. Is there any way we can postpone this till next week or something like that, just so Naomi can verify that it's not a 1-year DES?
Well, I think as long as Naomi verifies that before she sends the check in, and it's good for 2 or 3 years, we should be all set.
All right, what if we,
Well,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, John, maybe we could have a special meeting Wednesday or something like that and just vote on this.
But I'm just going to throw another wrinkle in it. You might probably have to wait till Monday, and the reason why is because I don't believe you have a check in the manifest anyway. So
Oh, okay.
we can
All right.
find out all the answers and go from there if you want to do
All
that.
right. You want to table it?
Till next week, and we can just bring it back. Is that all right?
Yep.
Jackie, you okay with that?
I guess so. Yeah, as long as we get it done sooner rather than later, because if
Sure.
this continues, I've looked at it and there's what they call sprawl at the end of that, it's the left of the ramp, and that's where the boat motors sit in and put a big hole. And the rest of it's deteriorating. We'd like to get it started sooner rather than later, I would imagine. If not, I think we see problems with either having to close that ramp and there goes people trying to get to the places on the lake, or having
What
damage
about
to vehicles and cars.
Jack, what about modifying your motion with the stipulation that the application or that the permit would be good for multiple years?
Well, usually that's up to DES. I mean, DES, I know from doing stuff with them in the past, most of them, they have a 5-year window. And if most of them, especially dealing with wetlands and water, they have updated extensions that you can go to and
Yep. So what I
file
was
paperwork. So I
Yeah.
think,
what I was getting at,
No.
Jack, is what if we would go with your motion and then with the stipulation that the permit is good for more than 1 year. And this way, if Naomi finds out it is, then she can just continue on as originally planned instead of waiting a week if it's whatever.
I could do that. I guess we'll make that modification.
Okay.
Okay. Modified motion. John, you still good to second it?
Yep. I second this modified motion.
Okay. Naomi, you clear on the motion?
No. So you're asking to, hang on. Your motion was to start the
Erin?
permitting process to DES and expend $400 somewhere from Parks and Rec. And what's the addition to that?
To make sure that it can be longer than 1 year.
Yeah, that the permit will be valid for more than 1 year.
Okay.
And then if it's not, then obviously we pause on this.
Yeah, we need to revisit.
Okay.
All right, move and seconded. Any more discussion?
Yeah, just one thing, maybe while we're waiting for Naomi to get this application and to find out whether it's a 2-year deal or something, maybe if the highway superintendent has a minute, maybe he could go up and take a look to see what he thinks it might cost to put pavement in or concrete in or whatever you're gonna do.
Just a repair plan to begin with.
Well, I
Yeah.
think the biggest thing you're gonna look at is you don't put asphalt in the water for a boat ramp. They'll put asphalt over concrete, and that just deteriorates. They use it like a skim coat.
No, I'm
every-
just
every
saying
boat
one or
ramp
the other,
is-
whatever.
Gonna be usually cement or it's solid gravel all the way down through, and but that takes a lot of work.
Right. I mean, again, I think the DPW director would have a pretty good plan, so, or at least formulate a good plan to get a plan of attack, see where we're at, so.
I think the gentleman that drew up the plans too also has a good handle on all of that. I had a
Oh, that's for
discussion.
sure.
I already had a
That's-
discussion with him about it, so.
Okay. All right, move seconded, discussion, all in favor, roll call, Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes,
Selectman Burdick,
Yes,
Selectman Osborne,
Yes,
Selectman Van,
Yes,
and Chairman Hippo, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we go to reappointment of committee members. And I've got
I sent you guys all a list before I left work today.
yep.
I
Quite a
don't know if
few.
you want to do it individually by committee, because you have several committees. We did them kind of alphabetically.
Okay.
Do you want to do it individually per committee? I'm not sure how you guys want to roll down through.
Well, I think there's quite a few on there. What's the consensus of the board? Do we want to do it individually or by board?
I'd say by board to make it expeditious.
that sounds good.
Okay. I was hoping to go individually, personally.
Well, let's do that.
Selectman Van?
I'm good either way.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, sounds like it's by group, so it's fine. Either or.
You're
All right,
still gonna have
well,
to name individuals that you're reappointing.
What's that?
You're still gonna have to name individuals that you're reappointing.
Okay. All right. So we will go down through. Cable TV Committee. Doug Alwine for a full member for 3 years. Entertain a motion. Do you want to do it individually motions or do you want to do as a whole?
I think you should do individuals. You've always done that when they came in front of you.
Okay. Entertain a motion for Doug Alwine.
Make a motion, we reappoint Doug Alwine as a full member of the Cable TV Committee for 3 years.
I'll second it.
Second.
Sherry did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah,
All right. Take a vote. Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes,
Selectman Burdick,
yes,
Selectman Osborne,
Yes,
Selectman Van,
Yes,
and yes, myself. All right, we'll move to Conservation Commission. Bill Bolton, full member, 3 years. Entertain.
a motion, we reappoint Bill Bolton for another 3-year term as a full member to Conservation.
second,
Roll call. Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes,
Selectman Burdick,
yes,
Selectman Osborne,
yes,
Selectman Van,
yes,
and Chairman Hipple, yes. I'm going to screw up the last name. Mike Camacho, that sound right?
Macho,
Macho, full member, 3 years. I'll move it. Is there a second?
Second.
Second,
Roll call, Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes.
Selectman Burdick,
yes.
Selectman Osborne,
yes,
Selectman Van,
yes,
and Chairman Hippel, yes. Sherry Burdick, full member, 3 years. Moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes.
uh, Selectman Burdick,
Abstain. I'm not going to vote on me.
I figured. Selectman Osborne,
yes,
Selectman Van,
yes,
and Chairman Hippel, yes. All right, Lori Davis, full member, 3 years. Is there a motion? I do not hear a motion. Move on to Parks and Rec. I must screw up your last name, Janie. I'm sorry. Janie, for a full member of 3 years. Is there a
Second.
motion?
I make a
Second.
motion.
All right. It sounds like John Van seconded. All right, roll call, Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes.
Selectman Osborne,
yes,
Selectman Burdick,
Yes,
Selectman Van,
yes,
and Chairman Hippler, yes. All right, David Lundin, full member, 3 years, move.
second,
Seconded.
Okay. Roll call, Jack,
Yes.
Sherry,
yes.
John Osborne,
yes,
John Van,
yes,
and Ricky, yes. All right, Planning Board, Chuck Bolton for full member, 3 years, moved.
seconded,
Jack,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes,
John Osborne,
yes,
John Van,
yes,
and Hippler, yes. All right, Neil Kirk, full member, 3 years. Is there a motion? Okay, go to Bill Stockhouse.
Make a motion. We elevate Bill William Stockhouse to full member from alternate for till 2023.
yes, seconded,
All right, Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes.
Selectman Burdick,
yes.
Selectman Osborne,
yes,
Selectman Van,
yes,
Chairman Hippel, yes. All right, Ray Menard is a new alternate member for 3 years, move.
Seconded.
Jack,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes,
John Osborne,
yes,
John Van,
yes,
Ricky, yes. All right, zoning board. Jack Dearborn, full member, 3 years, moved.
Second.
second,
Jack,
Yes.
Sherry,
yeah,
John Osborne,
yes,
John Van,
yes,
and Ricky, yes. All right, so Naomi, I'm a little confused. Do we have that, full member spot?
yes. So when Stu Richmond did not come back, reappoint last year, he was done. That left 4 full members and 2 alternates, being Bobby Joe and Gary. So the zoning board had asked Bobby Joe to be done, but we never completed that process. So,
Okay.
so she's been filling in, even though every month, the chairman appoints her as a sitting member. So we just need to make it official, because typically they recommend to you, and it never got, COVID set in and we were off to the races.
Okay. All right, entertain motion for Bobby Joe Plumonde to be put as a full member.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Bobby Joe Plumonden to be elevated from an alternate to a full member with her term to expire in 2022.
second,
All right, Jack,
Yes.
Sherry,
yes.
John Osborne,
yes,
John Van,
yes,
and Ricky, yes. Gary Shelto is an alternate member for 3 years, move.
Second,
Jack,
yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
John Osborne,
Yes.
John Van,
Yes.
Ricky, yes. Mark Moret, for full member for 3 years. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion that Mark Moret be reappointed for a full member for 3 years to the zoning board.
Second.
Jack,
Yes.
Sherry,
Yes.
John Osborne,
Yes.
John Van,
Yes.
Ricky, yes. That's all of them.
Yeah, and so actually, if you don't mind, if this is the appropriate spot, we're still under department heads, as you can see from the indentation of the agenda. Kelly Dearborn Luce is on, actually in regards to the health officer. Is this the appropriate time? She wanted to speak for a few minutes.
Yep, absolutely. This will be the time.
Okay. Kelly, it's yours.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep,
Can you hear me?
yep, we
Hello?
can. We can hear you, Kelly.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought Naomi said that she was going to discuss the letter to the editor that came out in the papers. So I wanted to be part of that discussion. But in the meantime, I did send you some information on how the local health officers were appointed, the task for the COVID investigations to enforce the guidelines. I also sent you copies of letters.
I don't have anything from you.
I don't have anything either.
All right, well, I sent it to Naomi. She can probably forward it after, but
And I
it
did
was,
forward it to all of you.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was in the flurry of other things I forwarded to you.
I can say there was a flurry too.
yeah, it was just background information just to confirm that local health officers are responsible to investigate complaints, provide all the guidance and resources when there is a complaint or a violation. I gave a list of all of the inspections for the restaurants that I did go into because I did not go into Dunkin' Donuts. I also, in the copies of letters, there's a template letter from the state health and from the AG's office. Those are the letters that I have used. And I just wanted to know if you had any questions or concerns about that letter to the editor, because I feel like it's slandering my reputation without any justification, or I'm not even sure where that information came from.
Right. Naomi, I don't have that. I'm looking through there right now. I don't see it.
Okay. It was 2 attachments, but that's all right. I'll resend it to you guys. So Kelly and I did have a conversation actually Friday as well. You know, it was brought to my attention through a Facebook post. I don't do Facebook. And then the Facebook post then became a letter to the editor. And then the backlash, basically, you guys can all go on and read it. It was on the Ware News outlet. And what it was from the state rep. And then from there, it actually flourished and kind of took a bad turn to, you know, kind of Kelly shutting down Dunkin' Donuts and some other things, which I guess what I look at is in part of that letter to the editor, it accused us of sniffing out businesses, and we don't have time to sniff out businesses. Secondly, it said in there that if you don't like what a business is doing, then don't go there. And I felt that was a little different to come out and say that about a business. So what's happening is if somebody goes into a business and sees no mask or some other things that they don't like to the emergency orders that are set forth, they typically never call us, because small town, they're not going to call us. They turn around and they call the AG's office. So then the AG's office is the one who then directs to Kelly that they need her to go look into this complaint. So I just want people to understand we're not generating them. It's something that they're handed down to us. And Kelly's been following everything she's been given from the government, from the governor's office, from NHMA and everything else. I just felt that something needed to be said. She and I did talk because it names her specifically, but you know, we've all been in that hot seat too. And I think if you just take a step back and would contact us and get more factual information, but again, a letter to the editor is printed and that's fine. And another one comes out in Concord. But I think that people need to understand that we are not, the term was sniffing out businesses. We're only asked to, by an upper office, to check on a complaint. So that's where it is. No one has been fined. No businesses have been fined. We're not closing businesses. As a matter of fact, if you take a moment and go to Dunkin' Donuts, go to Subway and stop in some of the businesses, they'll freely tell you how they're having a hard time getting help. It's got nothing to do with us shutting them down. If they don't have enough staff to work, then they can't open. So it's, the two aren't related as much as everybody wants to think that. It's not related that way. So I just wanted, you know, Kelly and I talked about it, and we're not going to reply to the Concord Monitor. He wanted to reply. I don't think we need to reply to the Messenger either. I mean, they all get these minutes, so I just want them to take it from there and realize that we're not after businesses. We're not looking to shut them down. They've struggled enough through this whole year of pandemic. You know, we want everybody to open back up and get somewhat back to normal, whatever that might look like. But that's kind of where Kelly and I talked, and she wanted to come in and say her things, and I just said that I was going to bring up the letter to the editor, which was fine. But I really just think is to take a step back and find out from the source where the information comes from is really worthwhile.
I can, and adding into that, I can tell you, I go to Dunkin' Donuts almost every morning when I'm on my way to work at 5 a.m. And it's like, I go in to get what I want instead of sitting in the drive-through. But, and I asked, the lobby's closed. They said, yeah, we don't have help. They got like 2 or 3 people and that's it. So they can't man the lobby and do the drive up. So everything is drive up. And that's the reason why the lobby's closed. The only time they can get the help is afternoons when the kids are out of school or weekends. So I don't know where all that came from, that she closed it, but that's not the reason.
Naomi, am I correct in assuming that the author of this letter has never come to you or anybody in the town office for clarification?
I've never spoken to her. I believe Kelly has spoken to her and tried to explain what Kelly just explained to all of you.
Okay.
Kelly, is that correct?
I did. I answered. I was speaking with actually 2 different people on this subject, and it happened to come in right after the town meeting. And it was accusations of me harassing and threatening and shutting down and fining. And that was not true. I don't do that. I have to guide them with education. I have to give them the resources, and I do have to follow up with a template letter. And that's the letters that I sent you in the email that you can look at.
So that all transpired prior to these letters to the editors being published, is that correct?
One was a 1 phone call last 2 weeks ago now.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
No, I think Kelly, I think you got a job to do. And you know, obviously when somebody calls in and the state calls down, and you know, like I said, you have a job you have to conduct, and do it with, you know, with dignity and respect. And I think you do that. And like I said, I think that you know, go with the source. And social media is a tool, and it's also our worst enemy. And more so worst enemy than tool. So absolutely, I don't disagree with anything that's been said tonight.
Thank you. It's just a little disconcerting because she talks about generalizing all local health officers.
Right.
You know, and it's not fair if she has something against a local health officer to include all state local officers.
Right.
And there's, so far as that I know, there has been no complaints from any business owners, restaurant owners, all the ones that I've had to respond to, and even the ones that I had one person ask me to go down and help them reset up to reopen, ask for assistance.
Right. Right, so they're doing it within the guidelines.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this is new to the health officers too. We didn't ask for this. This was appointed to take on this task. So this pandemic is new for us too. And we understand that the businesses are having a tough time trying to stay afloat financially, but we still have to do our job to protect others.
Right. Absolutely. Any other members of the board, any comments? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yep, not a problem. Thank you, Kelly. Okay, we'll move on to the RFP for cemeteries. The RFP, Naomi, hasn't changed since the last time it was issued, correct?
No, basically what I did, Ricky, is we had a 3-year. Basically, I just changed it to a 1-year.
Yep.
And changed the dates in it. Nothing else has changed. The same amount of cemeteries are still there. The expectation of what you want, meaning, you know, the amount of cleanups and things like that. You know, how high you want the grass. The term of the contract is basically April to November of 21. How the payments are received are at the end of the month. They have to supply us with insurance. There's the right to terminate. There always is. So basically, what I had done was I put together just a quick RFP that it can go in the newspaper. And what I did was I did it for an off week. And why I did it on our off week was so that they could supply me 3 references and I could do my due diligence for you for the following week.
Right, makes sense.
So the short version of what you saw will go into the messenger and on the website and wherever else I can put it. And then downstairs, and then the longer version is what they ask for when it says detailed specifications are available. I can put those on the website or they can call our office.
Right. Does anybody have any issues with that or comments?
One comment, just for this year only, being it's a 1-year contract, on the section 2, the last 18 cemeteries or the outlying cemeteries, I think it would be a good idea to waive the fall cleanup on those and just have them do a spring cleanup, considering the conditions of the rest of the cemeteries are in this year. Just my thought.
I would like to leave it in there for the fact of, you know, that was part of the basis why we terminated the contract with the other company.
I agree with Ricky. I think we should leave it in there.
Yeah, I do also.
I agree.
Seeing as how we're talking about this, last year it was on Selectman Burdick. I wouldn't say it wasn't on us, but Selectman Burdick and I went around and at the last minute did a couple of inspections. Do we want to try to designate somebody that can go verify that these are actually being performed? I know we had that complaint last year.
Well, I don't think that, I don't think it has to be on a weekly or monthly basis. Maybe a couple of times through the season and maybe just check up at end of year to make sure everything's good. But that, I think that's where the line would stop, because, you know, obviously you hire somebody and, I mean, obviously you want to make sure you're getting the best bang for the buck, but, and that the work's being performed.
We never had anybody policing this, correct? Other than Selectman Burdick.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, you could
So,
divide it up.
yeah,
I could do some of the South Wales ones and Johnny and John could do you know, North Ware and Sugar Hill area and the center, whatever. But I don't think you have to do it on a weekly basis. I think if you go through quickly, maybe once a month or every 6 weeks, just to verify stuff getting done.
Yeah,
Yeah, as long as we have somebody policing it, I think that's the biggest thing. This way we can catch it before it gets to where it ended up this year.
carried away, yeah. Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. You know, again, if that's an incentive you guys want to take, that's perfectly fine with me. I think the biggest thing right now, though, is securing a company to do it. So,
Naomi,
any,
you say you were going to be advertising this?
Yeah, so typically what we would do is we put on the website and I will send the first sheet only, which is the smaller version, over to the messenger so it can come out on Friday.
Okay.
And then it gives them a couple of weeks, I believe. And then they can submit them and I can check the references so that you'll have everything, because what's going to happen is then you're going to meet on the 19th. That gives about 6 weeks before Memorial Day.
Okay. So you said the messenger. I'm assuming where in the world, the website, post office.
Yeah, it goes in the post office, the town office, the website. I can try where in the world to see if we're hit that on schedule or not, because I know there's every couple of weeks, as well as I can have Doug put it on cable, as well as, you know, the website and the messenger, like I said.
All right. I was also thinking maybe New Hampshire Municipal under classifieds.
Yeah, we can do that.
And how much does it cost to put something out on the Union Leader and the Monitor?
The Union Leader and the Monitor will run you almost a couple $100 probably.
All right.
Where the messenger runs you about 65, and you're only you only have to put it in one paper of circulation.
Well, I understand it's only one, but if we want to try to, I mean, there was a concern brought up by another selectman earlier in the year that we're not going to get a lot of applications, and I think if we're going to do this and we have a short period of time, let's maximize it, and maybe we do spend the extra few bucks and put it in both Union and Concord Monitor. Just my thought.
I would agree with Selectman Van. I think that in current times as well, I think you have to flood the media as much as you can to get communication out there, because it's utterly impossible to do it otherwise.
Well, I have a list of prior ones that we had sent it to. I believe I still have their business cards. Is if you don't feel that's inappropriate, I can just kind of send them an email in case they don't see it in any one of these locations versus spending a couple $100.
I don't see a problem with reaching out to them. Just send them a copy of the bid request.
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
For that matter, just put it into one paper, put it into the Monitor.
Well, you can put it in the messenger, and then if you're going to email, I believe I had 5 or 6 people that had inquired when we first did it, probably 2 times before Mr. Stockhouse came to us.
Yep.
Do we want to do the Monitor, or do we want to do the misleader?
I can do either one and see which is the least expensive.
Okay.
I think the Union Leader would reach more people.
All right. All right, I'll check. I mean, the Union Leader, if you want, it doesn't matter. Just tell me where you want to go.
I think one of them is going to give us a more of a blanket to cover, so we a greater geographical area that we might be able to draw from. That's
right.
And also, you can
I agree with
also
Jack.
Google landscape companies and send it to those people too.
Yeah, I can do that too.
It might be your least expensive. On a default budget, was counting our pennies,
Absolutely.
squeezing our nickels.
I hate to be that guy, that pessimist, but what happens if we don't get any applications?
Do you like to mow?
Nope.
Just kidding. I don't know. I guess we'll cross that when we see that.
Okay.
So am I not using the newspaper and gonna try to Google and send out to, because I know there's plenty of them in Goffstown. There's plenty of them.
Yeah, I would say that might be the better idea. long as the board's all right with it, I think that'd probably be the better idea.
Yeah, we'll give that a try. It sounds more viable, I guess.
Well, there's so many people that
financially.
use the internet now. That's kind of where you can go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're still gonna put something on the municipal association page. though.
Yep, I have Messenger, NHMA website, Ware website, Channel 6, town office, post office, Where in the World with a question mark, and then reach out to prior inquiries as well as Google Landscapers.
What's
Absolutely.
that newspaper, Stonebridge, the one that is based out of Hillsborough?
The Hillsborough,
Oh.
Henry, whatever.
Is that or Goffstown?
No, the Messenger's Goffstown. There's another one that I keep seeing referenced. I think they're based in Hillsborough. I'll see if I can.
Okay.
Real quick.
The Hillsborough is a Henniker, John. I think that one's intended for Henniker.
Is it? Okay.
I think. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but I know which one you're talking about. I've seen it too.
Yeah,
And
I'll
this-
see if I can dig out the name for you, Naomi, and just email it to you tonight.
All right, that works perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, before we leave the cemetery thing, can I bring one thing up quickly?
Yep.
And I don't know if it's available or not, but I did mention to Naomi, or we had a discussion more than once about the cemetery down by her house on her road. And I was just wondering if there was any high school students that needed some hours before the end of the year that maybe they could do that cemetery is a complete mess. The brush is 8 feet tall and
Well,
it's,
yeah, while I don't disagree with that idea, I don't know if current times would allow that.
I don't know.
Plus,
Just
I
if-
don't want any special treatment
Well,
out
we're
of
not
all
getting
of them.
to do it.
It's on the
About-
list. It's on the list. So I surround it on all sides.
I'm just thinking of the poor people that are living down there in the trees.
It's all family.
Nice. All right, anything further on the cemeteries? All right, we'll move to the manifest then, which I do have. All right, moved to order the treasurer to sign payroll accounts payables checks dated March 25th, 2021, as included in the following manifest. Payroll manifest of $82,576.87, which includes weekly, monthly, and quarterly payroll. An accounts payable manifest of $82,583.12. Whereas school, $300,000 and John Stark for $250,000 for a total of $715,159.99. Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor, roll call. Vice Chairman Amini,
yes.
Selectman Burdick,
Yes.
Selectman Osborne,
Yes,
Selectman Van,
Yes.
and Ricky, yes. Okay, that brings us to the minutes, and I'm gonna blank out here because I gotta go get them. The minutes of 3:15. I did notice that when I have to go to get my minutes, in another aspect of my phone, I blank out. Okay, anything on page 1? Page 2? Oh, for some reason, mine don't want to load. Nope, there we go. Page 3? And 4? And 5.
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
I'll second it. Yep, okay. Moved and seconded, roll call, Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes.
Selectman Burdick,
Yes.
Selectman Osborne,
yes,
Selectman Van,
Yes.
and yes from me. Okay, administrator's report.
I sent it off to you today. Yay. So I will just start with the, I had hoped to do the forestry contract. That's why I wrote, I just need another 12 hours today to get it done, but I didn't get a chance to. Started it, but everything else, I got everything else done, so I see. Zoom, we only have 2 more. I just keep them there just so you guys know what's going on in case you want to tune in. Reappointments you took care of. The building inspector, I have on here, which I believe I sent you. I didn't finish the job description per se, but I did send you a draft ad. Do you guys have that?
Mhm.
Yes.
Where I did put basically a part-time, what they're responsible for. Professional experience in the trade is a plus. The hours I put on there, Monday and Wednesday, 7 to 5, and Friday, 7 to noon for inspections only if needed. And then I will have a job description, so I won't put this up tomorrow because I want you guys to look at it. And then to submit, again, I'll have to maybe change the date a little bit on it just to bump it out to give us time. And if that looks okay, and then what I will do is I will send you the job description so that we can look at it next week and okay it. If that's all right, so we're moving along with that, but it did say that we were gonna firm a schedule. And so if that schedule and that somewhat of the ad looks okay for you, I'll proceed forward with just the job description and we can go from there. Is everybody okay with that?
Works for me.
At some point,
Works for me.
I believe we should get together, whether it be a real short, brief meeting, and discuss how we'll bridge the gap. If we have a gap, which I think you're going to have, especially if next week is the 29th, and you have, the last day is the 31st. So I think we really need to somehow, some way pull together an in-person meeting to have a non-public, because we talked about not having non-public via Zoom.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
would
what
agree.
anybody thinks about that. We
I'm
could
available any night this week.
this week. Okay.
I got planning board on Thursday, so.
Yeah, me too. I got a Zoom. So that leaves Wednesday night if someone wanted to do Wednesday night.
That's fine.
Fine with me.
Yeah,
So
that works.
Wednesday night, what time could you do? Because I would just probably stay at the office.
Is this something that's going to be like a quick 15, 20-minute discussion, or is this going to be a lengthy one?
I don't anticipate it being lengthy. I think it's pretty straightforward. I just do need to post it, so I've got to put it out there tomorrow for Wednesday, but I'm just looking how early do you want to do it? Are we talking 6:30? It won't be a very long meeting, and it's not on TV, it's not anything, so if you come from
Earliest
work,
I'd be available is 6 p.m.
okay, it's not, not, if you come from work, you come from work, it's not a big deal.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, 6 would
Yeah,
work for me.
Six would be the dead earliest. I'd prefer like a 6:15.
Well, that's fine too. I'm all set for 6:15. I just want to
Okay.
put what we're gonna do.
6:15 then.
So we'll do 6:15 non-public, and that is, what the heck is the date? 24?
Sounds right.
And that's in
3/24.
person at the town office,
Yeah,
correct?
it's in person with us, the 6 of us, at the town office, yes. And you can
Sounds good.
come upstairs and we can, because the town office is open, so let's come upstairs and use the conservation room or outside my door.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So that's all I have with that one. I do want to now hop down to the building maintenance project. So the town hall, I did send you and forward you what I received Friday afternoon in an email from Walker Roofing, and it was $5,200 to do the returns. It was just repair, returns, materials and lift included for $5,200, but he also in bold underneath said if while doing the work we find structural damage or problems that we were unaware at the time, of the estimate will notify you immediately of any additional before proceeding. With that being said, I also provided you that I got a phone call later that said they could put us in the schedule and have it completed by the end of April. And they'll also do the copper end cap for the stone building while they're there. And I also gave you the balance in the Millwood Hall Fund at this time is 19,505, because that's what we agreed upon. We would spend first and not use the government building maintenance fund on it. Is that correct?
All right. Sherry and Naomi, do you know, I mean, I know, I have a good idea what the returns are as far as what they're talking about, but was there any distance up that fascia board, or no, was this just the strict returns of the wrought?
I'm actually going to ask Jack was there when Jack happened to stop when I was standing out front with him, and Jack partook in a little bit of conversation with him when we walked out back by the Metcalf side. That's the worst return, but I don't know what it looks like when you get into it.
But wasn't there a hole in the rake too, starting up the edge of the roof? You know, the rake underneath the edge of the roof, wasn't there?
There was one that started to show some deterioration, and the fascia board on the Metcalf side was showing some deterioration. On the Legion side, it had already been repaired because you could see where they had pieced it, and a piece was a seam there. So, and it wasn't really bad that they had to chase it by the looks of it, from what you could see from the ground, any great distance.
So the 5,200, Jack, in your opinion, is going to take care of all the wrought issues we have up top?
Right, pretty much, unless they find something that you can't see, which is always
Right.
Right, and
Everything
that's all
we're seeing
four
visually.
corners, Ricky, too. That's
Yep.
all four corners.
all four corners. Yeah.
Okay.
The
All right,
front
any
two
other
are
board
not as
discussion?
bad.
Yeah, no, I knew that. It was the back that was in really sad shape. So, any other board discussion?
I know it's above your 5,000 to put out to bid, but I mean, we've chased this for a long time. We've also can never get anybody to bid on the town hall. It's just, one of those things. I'd like to see us at least get our name on the schedule for April. It'd be nice to say that we get that done.
Right.
But it's entirely up to you. You do have the ability of waiving your purchasing policy as a group. He's not a sole vendor. We could get it from others, but then how long are you going to wait? And then it's going to be, this
We
summer.
reached out to others.
I have not, John. They have their own lift. It's going to require renting a lift to get up there. They own their own lift. I don't know.
And they're gonna,
You guys can decide, but we've talked about this, Ricky, for how long? 6 years now?
minimum, and also too that they're gonna fix the stone building as well while they're here.
Exactly, for no charge. They got to clean up the copper and they'll put it back on.
Which to me has some value because it's steel, it's copper.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of value to it as well.
I think the thing is, he's a reoccurring vendor. I mean, he did all the work on the steeple. And I think to have him, he knows the building.
Right.
We've been chasing him around here for a better part of over a year. So I think we've got him. Let's use him. Because if we have to go through trying to find somebody else, we may be spending more money.
Most of
more
the,
time.
Or in the next year.
Yeah, and it may not get done.
well, the other thing
Right.
is that right now, anybody that's good is already booked for the year now. So you're not probably going to get anybody anyway.
Right. All right. Selectman Osborne, Selectman Van, anything?
I'm just, we're gonna get it out. But whatever, no, we'll go with them. My gut feeling tells me it's not gonna go well, but we'll go with it.
Okay. Selectman Osborne, I think you get talked over. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, like Naomi said, we've been talking about this for 2 or 3 years now. So let's just get it done.
Yeah, it's been more than that because
Yeah.
Tom Clow and I walked over there, I think, in 2016, 17, and 2015.
And I've been on the
got a
board
list
for
together.
6 years. I've been on the board 6 years, and it's been
Talked
same
about,
thing.
talked about.
yeah. I mean, we've started with the doors, and then the steeple, and
Oh, yeah.
and everything else, and we're just piecemealing it.
Yeah, kicking the can down the road. per se.
Actually, I think in 2008, I came over and brought it up to the board at that time. I'm not sure who was on the board, but in 2008, that got brought up along with the roof, the bell tower in bad shape and the doors. And so it's been around a long time.
You know, he did quality work when he did the bell tower, so I think we know what we're getting. Let's put it that way.
All right. I'll move that we use WCRC LLC to perform the town hall repairs for a total estimate of $5,200 to come from the Mildred Hall Town Hall Fund.
Second,
Any discussion? Being none, take a roll call vote. Vice Chairman Meany,
yes.
Selectman Burdick,
Yes.
Selectman Osborne,
Yes.
Selectman Van,
Abstain.
Selectman Hippler, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna continue down. So being nice weather today, I figured I could get out some of the, and scheduling projects was my hope today. The town hall sign replacement, I did send out an email to Clark Roberge as well as Benji, because we really need to get started, and asked where he was with Granite, Swenson Granite, because that was our holdup. And Benji said it needed 2 weeks lead time so that we could make sure it's all set. I think Frost is pretty close to being out, but at the same time, I'd really like to get him in the schedule so that we can get that sign put back up. So I'll keep you informed as we move along with that as to what he replies back. I have not heard back yet from him. I have my other computer going too. So I didn't get out today in that end. I drove right to the building and didn't go. So I don't know if the gazebo sign or the Schmid signs are up yet. If not, I'll put out that friendly reminder as well. The other the next three things, we haven't done much with, as far as the Clinton Grove bell tower, my office walls and ceilings, and the ladies' bathroom downstairs. And I think now with the change of what I had hoped on a part-time or full-time basis is not going to happen, as far as at least 6 and 7. I've lived in it this long. I'm okay with it. And then 8, I was asked last week to put that on my list so it doesn't get forgotten. And again, tomorrow, I don't see Benji today. It's Monday. I'll have to, not tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm going to coordinate with Benji to kind of get some of this stuff on the list as well, as to, kind of be proactive versus reactive. I think that's what we need to do.
Yeah, that's fine.
I do have one other thing that I didn't put on. I remembered today. We got a piece in the mail about pruning our trees. And in speaking with Asplund, do you remember the year they went around town and did that huge cut?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
actually looking at doing it again. They've got 80 or 90 miles of road to trim up this year. And I don't believe, I told them I would run it by you, that they don't really need any permission from us. The only thing I did remind them that no scenic roads can be done. Scenic roads have a state RSA and they have to come to the board for a public hearing. They agreed that they would do no scenic roads until they had a public hearing. So if you're okay with it, I'll just tell them you guys are okay with the 80 or 90 miles of town maintained road and let them go. They obviously have to wait for they'll have to wait for the weight limits, some of them, because the edge of the roads are pretty iffy. So, but I'll touch base with them. If you guys are okay with it, I'll just touch base with Asplund and say that we're okay with that, except for the scenic roads, again, need to be done. And then one last thing didn't get put on there was there's been some, and I'm going to ask for Selectman Osborne's help in this. There's been some discussion, I don't want to say social media, but I've gotten emails about it, of some sort of celebration being speared by some private group or private residences or businesses. I'm not sure exactly. And I don't think if John were doing anything, it's gonna probably look towards the fall, because we really don't know what's gonna happen as far as, you know, what's the governor gonna do in May, what's gonna happen in July. But my question to you is, the person that is looking to push this and maybe fund it is an individual. How do you feel about the facilities use form for an individual? I guess I'm looking at if this person is going to take charge and the committee takes a back seat. This is if. I guess I'm a little leery with that, only for the fact that it, you know, somebody's going to carry the insurance and somebody's going to do some other things. Checking with the school, we've got to have some sort of indication that the grounds won't be ruined and things like that. Or is it safer to have the committee run it, and then there's some oversight by a group that's somewhat affiliated with us, not directly, but we did have good coordination with them in the school. So I'm asking John Osborne if you can help me with that, and if I gave any wrong information, if you could correct it, and then secondly, what the board's thoughts are on that.
I think you gave it out pretty close, Naomi. Laura Bono has been in touch with this person about it, and they've reached out to us to fund the complete celebration. So I'm not sure whether that's going to be the Patriotic Celebration Committee putting it on and then this person sponsoring us. What we're looking at right now is just to try to get a consensus that the fields would be available so that we can go ahead and have a in-person meeting with this person or group that's doing it. And after we do that, we would definitely come back before the town and with further information.
I guess my take on that, John and Naomi, is I don't mind a meeting, I guess, per se, of trying to come up with something, but we as a board, as the state, I don't know where we're going to be come fall later in the year. And if we as the board sign off on it, and give them the facilities use form as far as the field, et cetera, and basically okay hosting the large gathering on town property, are we putting ourselves in a bad spot? That would be my only reserve on that, would be us putting the town in a bad spot by relinquishing that, because you're gonna potentially, it's gonna be the first main event of who knows how long, and everybody and their cousin is going to come out, and you know, you're going to populate that field shoulder to shoulder. Is that really something the town wants to put themselves into? Not knowing where we're going to be in 6 months.
I agree with you, Ricky. I think that, you know, we could end up on the, you know, evening news saying that we've just started a super spreader event, you know, like by having all these people here, and we don't know where we're going to be. The other thing is, you know, I don't like the fact, I'm not against it, but I don't, it gives me a real good feeling to have a private group, you know, do a facilities use form. We allow them to do it and have to get the insurance. And then if something's wrong, how's it going to get enforced? Or if something happens there, you know, using the school, we get multiple areas of the school property and our property. How's that going to be contained or, you know, watched that the damage doesn't get, you know, and who's responsible for cleanup afterwards? You know, are they going to say, oh yeah, and then they disappear like the wind, and then we get stuck with the cleanup? That's the other thing.
Well, I think you could put that into the security deposit, the cleanup thing. But my bigger fear is, like you said, the front page of the super spreader event.
Yeah, the other part is, how do you charge for a fee, for a security fee for something, a security deposit, at the town hall or something like that for some big giant event like that.
For a 3/4 of an acre activity.
Plus, yeah, plus you have, probably have to worry about having police and all that stuff too, with that.
Right.
So
To
I
me,
think what I
it's
can do, Ricky, is I can put it on just like I did with the Reservoir Drive. I can put it on there so we don't forget it. And John Osborne, if you guys have some meetings and maybe just we could kind of keep us informed as to what's going on. We'll also pay attention as to what the governor's up to as well.
right. I mean, yeah,
I can do that, and I will say that myself being on the patriotic committee, I am not in favor of it at all. I don't think we should have anything this year, but that's up to the rest of the committee members.
right. Again, we don't, I personally, I don't know where we're going to be in 6 months. I mean, I hope to be in a better
It's not
spot.
6 months. That's the problem. It's only 3.5.
Right, exactly.
July.
So
September.
3.5 months, I don't know where we're going to be. I just, I'd want to
I-
be
I
diligent.
don't think we're gonna be anywhere near having a show like this. I
A
really don't.
large gathering,
No,
right?
Yeah, I don't know how you'd police everyone to wear a mask either, which would be, I think, crucial.
And probably near impossible, like you're saying.
We'll just keep it on there and we'll kind of see what happens as we move along, just like anything else. If you put it on the list, we can keep track of it better.
Yep.
I'll take the information that I've got tonight and refer that up to Laura Bono and go from there. I'll keep you informed.
Sounds good, John. Thank you.
All right, that's basically, Ricky, all I have. I do have one piece of correspondence when you're ready, though.
Okay. No, I think that's what we'll move on to. Correspondence or other business.
Okay, I just want, so, we as a town dedicated the town report in memoriam to 5 people. So what we did is I had Karen send a copy with a nice cover letter to them. So, to let them have kind of a complimentary copy. I did hear at voting, I saw Eldon Towns' daughter, and she thanked me. I saw Lloyd Bailey's wife and she thanked me. And then, so we have a card from Judith Foss, if you don't mind. It says March 6th to the Board of Selectmen and Town Administrator, Town Aware, from Judith Foss. It was with tears and gratitude that I received yesterday your kind letter in the town report honoring the memory of my husband, John. Please accept my sincere thanks for remembering John in this way. Your kindness touched my heart. Gratefully yours, Judy. So I just want you to know that she really appreciated that. That's the only thing I had. But I think, Ricky, I don't know if this is a proper or not. I also forwarded you something from the AG's office and Eileen had asked to be on.
Yep.
I don't know
Yeah,
if this
that's
is proper or not as the moderator, if she's even ready or if she wants to talk about it.
First, I want to thank you and Karen for doing that and sending those, with the cover letters to those individuals' family.
Yep,
That was,
you're welcome.
yep, thank you. Eileen, did you want to speak to that at all? You're still there?
I
There you
am,
go.
I can. I just want to read something in it. We received, so the Attorney General and the Secretary of State, every time we run an election, they come and they run the checklist to determine whether or not we've met standards for the election. And so Maureen had forwarded me today, and Naomi, the report that we received from their office. And so I just wanted to read to you what they had said. And so it was, the letter was dated March 8th. It was to the election officials of the town of Ware. And I'll read you the letter. During the November 3rd, 2020 general election, Attorney General McDonald assigned polling place inspectors to approximately 99% of the state's polling places. While the general election ran relatively smoothly, there are always steps that can be taken to improve voters' polling place experience. We incurred exceptionally high voter turnout, both through absentee ballots and in-person voting during the November general election. As a result, we need to ensure that our polling places operate as efficiently as possible. We are providing you with a copy of your town's polling place checklist so you can review the information from our inspector. In our review of your town's polling place checklist, we noted the following items that must be addressed. Number one, the polling location did not consistently repeat voters' names out loud per RSA 659-13. Please ensure that staff and volunteers do so in the future. The polling location did not have all selectmen present when inspected. Part 2, Article 32 of the New Hampshire Constitution requires all the selectmen or their designees appointed per RSA 658-21A to be present at the polling place on election day. If you have any questions regarding the items highlighted in this letter or any other questions regarding operating your town's polling place, please do not hesitate to reach out to me at the below contact information. Thank you all for all that you do to organize and run New Hampshire's excellent election process. And that was signed by Nicholas Chong-Yan, who is the Assistant Attorney General of the Election Law Unit. So I just wanted to give you a heads up as to what they had found and what their expectation is. And then Naomi, did you want to talk about final results related to things that had to be reviewed by council, or?
Is that the other our right to know?
No, it was in terms of the petition warrants on
Sure.
on the ballot. So I'll
yeah,
be
go
here
ahead.
for the
Before we move away from that,
conversation.
though,
You have a letter.
before we move away from the general election, I read that. I read the report. I kind of went down through the handwritten checklist, and it led me to wonder a little more. And I'm not saying that obviously we were at fault, and we'll own that. But what kind of consequences come along with that for no corrective action?
So if they had been, it's an expectation from them based on RSA that all selectmen be at the polls or designate a person to be their replacement. And so if we don't do that, I'm not quite sure, Ricky, to answer your question, what the penalty could be. I do know that there are penalties that they can impose. They can fine, they can sanction, but I believe that there was a selectman present at the time of their check. I think that particular selectman may have either been in the restroom or was eating a meal. But we did
one present.
Yes, there was one present. And so
Yeah.
the conversation that I had and Maureen had was, how many selectmen do you have in your town? All of them need to be there or have a designated person there for them. In the same way that if I couldn't be there, I would have to designate somebody to be there in my absence. And so
Right.
their expectation is that if you can't be there, that you're gonna swear somebody in to be enacting. And so I think, that's just for our edification to know moving forward.
Okay.
I'll pipe in on part of that. At the time when he did the inspection, I was the selectman, and he made a comment, there's no selectman here, and I was actually at the back non-masked ballot box at the time, filling in for the person there till they went to the restroom. So then I came back and he was saying something about the selectmen, and I stood there and raised. But still, his comment was, "You're all supposed to be here."
Okay. That's fine. I didn't know what if there was, fiscal or whatever. Didn't know what kind of consequences they could have. And if they want to bring the poll somewhere else, that's perfectly fine with me. If they want to take it away from us, that's fine too. So
I think there's 2 chances of that.
That's probably not going to happen.
dang.
I
Okay.
have deviated as much as I'm willing to deviate.
Yeah. So, all right, we can move on to the petition article.
Eileen, are you gonna take it or you want me to?
I can if you want me to. I just have to pull it up.
Yeah, I was gonna do the same.
So let me see if I can find it. I have the same thing. I probably go blank every time. Okay, so I have it. And so as we had discussed at the poll, at the night of the election, there were 2 petition warrant articles on the ballot. I believe that they were Article 4 and Article 8. Naomi, please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you got it.
Article 4 was a no, so it doesn't have any relevance in this conversation. But Article 8 required 2/3 vote yes in order to pass. And so this
Oh.
is, am I accurate on that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the answer of town council. So, and I'm gonna, which is Walter Mitchell, and I'll read it into the record. So it says, "Good morning, Naomi. As you realize, Laura is out of the office this week. Therefore, I'm responding to your protest petition inquiry below. 1, property owners have submitted a protest petition under RSA 675-5 addressing Article 8 on the warrant. 2, Article 8 was approved by the voters by a vote greater than a simple majority, but not greater than 2/3, which would be what is required if the protest petition was validly submitted. 3, the protest petition was filed with the town on February 26, 2021. 4, RSA 675-5(2), Section B requires that the petition, quote, shall be submitted at least 7 days prior to the town meeting, end quote. Note, unlike other acts of the legislature, this does not say, quote, prior to the vote. 5, Ware has adopted the SB2 form of conducting its town meeting. 6, RSA 4013-2 refers to the SB2 town meeting having, quote, 2 separate sessions, end quote. 7, therefore, Ware 2021 town meeting started with the first session, which was the deliberative session held on February 6, 2021. 8, the protest petition filed 20 days after that first session was not timely filed, and its 2/3 voting requirement does not apply. And so in summary, the protest petition that was filed was invalidated by its late file, and so it does not apply here. And so the vote on Article 8 stands as a yes. And so that should be read into the record this night on March 22nd, 2021.
Very good, thank you.
And I have nothing more.
Nor do I. Any of the
I-
board, anything?
Yeah, I do. I mentioned it to Naomi today. Every year we do a litter pickup. The Historical Society kind of sponsors it. So I've got to check with Ben about blue bags, but we'll do it again the same time as always, the last Saturday in April, first Saturday in May, and more. I'll bring some sign-up sheets because they pick up the blue bags at the town office when people come in. And a lot of times I go over to the transfer station and hand them out over there the weekend before. So, you know, hopefully we'll clean up the sides of the roads a little bit as usual.
Hopefully you get participation too.
Yeah, I mean, we've had it when we've had 70 or 80 miles of roads worked on, but I don't know, last year we didn't do it because of the COVID. I didn't want to have people out with so much of it. This year it's not so bad, so I guess let people make their own decision whether they want to do it or not. And they can do it anytime. They can pick up 4 or 5 bags from the town office or from me, and they can pick it up anytime. They can do it during the week as long as they're taking the stuff to the dump. We're not, or to the transfer station.
Right. Right. Okay. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I got a couple of things, Ricky.
Go ahead, Osborne.
I believe it was last week or the week before, we voted to have a stop sign removed in Clinton Grove. Just wondered if Naomi could kind of put that on Benji's list again. It's still up there. And the second thing, which I think is a little more important right now, is anybody taking a look at the code enforcement vehicle? Because both rear wheel wells are starting to rust through, and the driver's door and the rocker panel has got significant rust on it. I think we need to get that into either a body shop or perhaps somebody down the highway is good at body work before it gets any worse. That's it.
Maybe we can arrange, now that we can maybe catch up a little bit on some of the plow truck repairs with, hopefully the S word being gone. We can,
Oh, you
maybe
just jinxed us.
I know, that's why I do that. So maybe we can get, Jay, take a look at it down there.
Is there a line somewhere in our budget for the code enforcement vehicle repairs?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
I believe it has a line, doesn't it, Naomi?
Yeah, he's got, I don't know what the money is in it, but
It's not much, but it's
It's
there.
not much.
I received a email from one of our vendors, our upcoming vendors, and I forwarded it on to the police chief and Naomi earlier in the week.
Okay. And that pertained to the police department, I take it?
Yes, police.
Okay. Anybody else? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
See you
All right.
Wednesday, folks.
Yeah, see you Wednesday, 6:15. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.